Okay, guys, I am finishing up your shuffle for the solar eclipse one card reading with a goddess guidance oracle card to support you as you move forward through the next 4 months of 2017. If you read the blog, then you know that this one's a doozy and maybe some reasons as to why that's the case. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull one card for every sign, and this can apply to your sun, moon, or rising. And we'll talk a little bit about, for each sign, what is the challenge going to be in terms of what I want and why I want it. Moving towards the end of the year, you have to really think about 1 years as kind of like you're a mad scientist. Like, you might feel kind of crazy for most of the year, because what you're doing is you are reassessing like the alchemy of your life, right? So what's working, what's not working. There's a period, the first phase of what alchemists do is called the nigredo, or they also called it the putrefaction or blackening phase, where essentially all of the base elements that they were working with were, had to be scorched to the same even tone of black. And I find that so interesting because, we don't really know what we're capable of until we have turmoil in our lives. We don't know how strong we are. How would we? How could we? How much we could endure if we don't know what we can handle. And so I feel like the last few years in particular have been really tough on a lot of people and have brought folks to a breaking point, but they haven't broken. They're just bent like almost all the way into, a U shape. But that's what Carl Jung called the dark night of the soul. If you have periods of that or phases of that, it means you're leveling up. And it's not comfortable. Okay, I understand that. I'm going through something similar right now myself with new beginnings, but what growth spurt do you know that is comfortable? I mean, when you're a kid and you're growing, your bones hurt, your gums hurt, your skin hurts, you break out, like a crazy person through prepubescence, and you just develop new body parts. And things start kicking in, hormones start kicking in, and, it's not comfortable, right? So in a 1 year, it's a very similar sort of reboot, energetically speaking. And with the solar eclipse here, it's kind of like the final marker, like, okay, we're in the home stretch. So this year, for me, what I really got to tell everybody was like, it's going to be really important for you to understand what it is that you want by the end of the year. Very specific. Don't be vague. I want to be happy. That's too vague. And it's very subjective. The universe is like, oh, you just want like some popsicles? Those make you happy. And it's like, yeah, but I can't pay the rent, bruh. So it's contextual. So I find that people who are typically stalled out or stagnating don't really they can't point to what it is that they want. They can't point to their life purpose yet. So, you need to take the rest of 2017 and kind of operate as a super sleuth and do a lot of internal dialogue about what pleases you, where it would please you to be, and why, so you can stand up for it. Because when the going gets tough over the next several years, what you want and why you want it is the thing that will keep you motivated. It's having vision. It's having a direction. I was watching The Labyrinth earlier today, or Labyrinth, and, there's this scene with Sarah, and she's eaten this peach, and she's forgotten. She's in the woods, and she's forgotten, and she kind of falls into a trance and ends up dancing with the Goblin King and realizes that it's an illusion. And when she tears the illusion down, another illusion is waiting for her in a junkyard that takes on the semblance of her room, what she left behind, all the comforts of home. And this creepy old lady who is basically a, a pack rat type goblin, is trying to push all these things on her and say, don't you want this? Don't you want your teddy bear? This isn't junk. This is what you want. This is what you, and she starts piling stuff up on Sarah's back. So she starts to resemble this woman. And eventually Sarah remembers that she was looking for something. And it's enough to continue to jar her loose through that entire film, when she remembers what her focus is. I got to save my brother. I got to get to the Goblin Castle, And so when she remembers that, things transform and she finds her way again. So having what you're looking for in place, in mind, will help you get to where you want to be. And it doesn't have to be complete like life purpose, It could be just something like, I want to make an investment towards understanding more about my life purpose by the end of the year, So it's still life purpose oriented, but it's like it's taking your time, But it would be really helpful if you could, help the universe help you and give it a direction. You can change your mind later. It's okay. But finding out what you want and why you want it is going to be very important over the next 4 months. Picking, choosing, that's part of the initiation of a 1 year, is picking and getting rid of people like the old goblin bag lady, who are trying to convince you to stay put because they're miserable and they're living in shadow, and you're doing the work in the shadow land to get up out of there. Your dark night of the soul, any confusion that you're feeling or any, diffused clarity, that's coming about because you're looking for that rope ladder. It's like you left yourself like a breadcrumb trail to find your way out again. So it's going to be really about doing some internal monitoring and looking at yourself more like an anthropologist would. What triggers me? What makes me happy? What makes me sad? Who makes me happy? Who makes me sad? I went through this period this year where I had a lot of friends fall away, and it was like as I increasingly leveled up, both professionally and personally and in my spiritual path, those people started getting real uncomfortable, and I had to let some friendships and partnerships, fall away because it's like those people were stuck. And it's not that like, I'm better than them or anything. I just realized that I didn't want to stay in that spot anymore. I wanted to go check out something over there, and they didn't want to. They wanted me to stay with them in their misery. So again, finding out what you want, that will, once you find out, once you make the choice, that's the hardest part of it. Then putting it into action, that's the easy part, and then you wait. So that's kind of a ramble, but I'm going to go ahead and look at the bottom of the deck here, and I see for a lot of you all the concern is money. Like, how do I make more of it? I feel like your material resources have stalled out or aren't bringing you pleasure in the same way. So you have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse at the bottom of the deck, and I do read reversals for these. So essentially the Knight of Pentacles is, a result of, it could be a terrible work environment or relationship that you're kind of yoked to that is causing negative self-talk, codependent relationships, but it's causing your money to be inert. It's making your money funny. And it's like you have no foundation. And the negative self-talk has got to go. You have to find a way out of that. And if you're enabling anybody around you by like supporting them and not making them get off their ass and like get a job, if you don't transform, why should they, right? So it's really about mentality. It's about how you look at abundance, how you look at wealth, how you look at those resources. They're all narratives that we agree to, and how you look at things plays a role in what you earn. You have high intuition. We all do. We're all equipped with high intuition. This is basically, every time I do a card reading, it's like, this is a destiny point. So that's what I was talking about earlier. Like, you are in a place where it's time to choose. Do you want to be in service of yourself? Or do you want to be in service of the cosmos and the divine? And you might just be overloaded with information right now, don't know where to start. Emotions all over the place, maybe new starts in love, waiting to reap your rewards. But like I was saying earlier, you all have some really strong, resilient backbone action going here. This year has forged you in a lot of ways, and I think that you all are finally starting to understand that you can't take the long way, and that what you want in general, and who doesn't want this, is a reality that's based in passion and creativity, and you have the ability to manifest, and you can start walking towards abundance. I think some of you all need a little more time in the oven. And I say this a lot during the readings. People are like, why isn't this here? And I'm like, well, who wants to eat a half-baked cake? You're wanting something from someone else, and you're not even done baking yet. You still have some work to do on yourself. You're restless. You want everything now. We live in a microwavable culture. And we want everything in 2 minutes or less. It's not how it works. So if you have a new opportunity that you're looking at, it looks like it is the thing to go for. It has the potential to make you feel very sustainable and well off. Walk away from past hurts over the last few years. All it's going to take is some soul searching, some internal enlightenment, patience, okay, to figure out how to execute that starting in 2018, because 2 years are about balance, partnerships, collaborations, stability, okay? You can't have a foundation on a 4 of Wands if you don't have at least 2 to get it started, right? So into heartbreak, so this new direction that's coming for you all, you don't have to take it, but I would suggest that, and you might not want to because there's been something else that didn't work out for you in the past that you were looking forward to. But again, what you learned from those experiences taught you what you need to know about this one coming up for you that's going to emotionally stabilize you. And all the rest of that energy, stuff that didn't work out, start and stop, misplaced emotions, it's refining you into a place where you can be ordered, benevolent, generous, accomplished. But I think some of you guys are stalling. Yeah. It's okay though, you're right place, right time, you're right where you need to be. Okay, the cycle is not over yet, and you still have time to balance your energy. I think some of you all are not in a good mood right now. I think being so tight-fisted makes you really, it makes everybody anxious. So I think old opportunities are kind of getting in your way, and you're looking back like, okay, well, I hope I don't mess it up. But I know you want to be happy at work. And I know that you want to be passionate about what you do, and you want to move forward without baggage, but it's going to take some work, okay? So a lot of you, I'm seeing, have very sharp intellect, ready to stand up and fight for what you believe in, ready to walk forward and trust your intuition, very creatively abundant and fertile. Oh yeah, a lot of you are in good shape. It's just starting to move forward. That's what's kind of killing you right now, okay? So, gonna take a little sip of my beverage here. So we're gonna start at the top with Aries, and I'm gonna try and timestamp these so you guys aren't like waiting. Aries at the top, you have the Lovers in reverse. So the Lovers in reverse, if this is something you're looking at in terms of partnership, and you're wondering if the partnership is going to work out for you, you really need to take the rest of 2017 and figure out what it is that you want in your partner. What is it that's going to make you feel balanced? Is it equal? Is it reciprocity? Is it sustainable? I say this a lot in readings too. Love don't keep the lights on, unfortunately, and I'm a Virgo, so it's a very concrete way of looking at things. But Virgos are all about that foundation. We're very practically minded, and I think as a fire sign, Aries, you can get a little swept up in the emotionality of it all. And you take charge. When you want something, you go for it. My little sister is an Aries, and when she puts her mind to something, it's wonderful to watch her sort of just run at it like she's going to run through a brick wall, you know, at full tilt, flames sputtering out from behind her, you know. So I really admire that about Aries, but I also know that they can sometimes cling to an idea past its shelf life. You know, they almost take it personally when something doesn't work out because it's the god of war. So, you know, in terms of strategizing, you know, what do you want in a partnership? Why do you want that? You know, is this someone you can be vulnerable with? Is this someone you can be exposed with? You know, well, hopefully you're not exposing body parts in public, but, you know, unless you're in a designated area. But, you know, but that's what you're looking for, you know. Now, if you are not in a partnership and you're not interested necessarily in romance and you're looking more in terms of, because we do have the Knight of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, fueling a lot of people's concerns. You know, you may be looking at partnerships in terms of work. You know, do you take a gamble with, you know, someone who could be a work partner? And I'm getting right now, like, if any of you are considering going into business with your friends or family members, it's not a good idea. So there's something about that arrangement, and I don't know if you've ever done any business with family members or friends before, but it's really not easy. In fact, one of my friendships this year came to a halt because, you know, we were friends, but we weren't good work friends, and it can cause a lot of turmoil and hurt feelings. So just reconsider that. If someone's like, yeah, let's go in on this together, you may find yourself carrying the brunt of the burden there. So, and in general, if it's not work or relationship related, if it's just like about you, the Lovers in reverse is, you know, about you balancing out your masculine and feminine energies. So masculine and feminine, I understand that those terms are polarizing binaries. It's shorthand in the tarot for dominant, assertive energy and receptive, submissive energy. And not submissive in terms of like weakness, submissiveness in the choice that, you know, we're going to let go of control. Which that's a whole nother recording to talk about how surrender is the ultimate form of control when you realize you don't have any. So really looking at, am I personally balanced? Some of you all could probably use some time studying mindfulness meditation. You know, some of you all could probably take some time trying to figure out why, you know, you're not invited to dinner parties anymore. Or, you know, are you that person on Facebook who just won't let up? 3 days later, you're still on the thread arguing with people. You know, where are you putting your time and attention in your personal overall well-being? What do you want, you know, at a personal level? What is not fulfilling you? If it's enlightenment and you want to be enriched, there are places that can accommodate you. So going to find those places and seek those out and learning what it is about you that feels imbalanced at the moment, at a personal level, a spiritual level, that's going to be your priority for the next 4 months, okay? So let's see what goddess we have out for you. Oh, look at that, Guinevere, true love. So I'm feeling like a lot of Aries right now are, they got a special somebody that they are looking at, because it says the romantic stirrings in your heart have propelled the universe to deliver great love to you. And it's Guinevere, you know, that's a timeless, absolutely timeless partnership with King Arthur. I mean, Arthur and Guinevere, I mean, it's classic, you know. So so again, this can still speak to if you're not assessing, you know, a partnership, a romantic partnership, in terms of general, you know, work related stuff. You know, are you doing what you really care about? Are you doing what you could wake up every morning and just, it's like it's the kind of work that you live for. It doesn't feel like work, because it's something that you actually enjoy doing. Time stops, you know, or even if the pressure is still on, the payoff is worth it, you know. So if you want that kind of work, it's time for you to go find it. You know, it's time for you to investigate how to actually make that happen. Otherwise, you risk, you know, losing the next several years to wiffle waffling. Did I just make that up? I did. And again, if this is about just you and your overall wellness, well-being, true love, like how, you know, do you love yourself, or are you looking for people outside of yourself to validate that you're a good person or that you're worthy of love? So that's going to be, it's really important. That's a really important and very scary and risky topic, because when we find acceptance and companionship, it validates that we're worthy of love, so what happens when you extend unconditional love to yourself? All the care, cooking a meal, taking yourself out to dinner, spa day at the crib, what if all that stuff that you were ready to lavish on another person, you lavished on yourself? Like, what would happen then? Okay. All right. Moving on to my Taurians. Okay. So we have the 10 of Wands in reverse. So this is somebody who is overwhelmed with their creative commitments, maybe social commitments, I'm hearing, and could be work commitments. Someone who's spread really thin and doesn't know if they can carry the load. Now with Taurus, so Taurians are kind of like the quintessential, like the tower has to show up for a Taurus to move, I think. It's like, if I don't move, the universe will move me. Yeah, because you guys, when you dig your heels in, you're like, this is good. I'm just going to live here. I'm going to get mail here. I'm fine. Like, when you guys get comfortable, but you're not so uncomfortable that you have the, discomfort enough to get up off of the floor, it's survival. But, what kind of life is that to live? So this is about pride at this point. This is about hubris. This is about you not acknowledging that these wands are suffocating you, that they are stifling your movement. And you have too many commitments. You have too many commitments. You're spread too thin. So the rest of the year is going to be about eliminating some of those or delegating responsibility. Who can you ask to help you move forward? Because otherwise you're just going to be stuck like a reed in mud, and nobody wants that. So looking at what drives you creatively, what's too heavy, what you can let go of, that's going to be super important for the Taurians who are listening. Especially coupled with this Knight of Pentacles in reverse and the Devil right under that card. This is someone I'm just feeling a lot of pride coming through. Like, if you have Taurus in your chart, someone who's, stubborn, bullheaded, and normally a really like sweet person. But when it comes to, it's like, let me do it. It's like Stewart from Mad TV. Let me do it. I can do it. And maybe you've been turning away help because your pride won't let you say, yes, I could use some help. That was a lesson that I had to learn this over the past year, is when someone offers help, it's okay for you to say yes. I choose a word at the beginning of every new solar return for myself, where one reveals itself to me that guides the rest of the year. So last year, and I usually start getting an inkling of this word like around summertime, while I'm still learning the lessons of old. It's kind of like a fuzzy transitional period. Well, last year it was surrender, and it made me mad when it showed up. I was like, surrender? No way. What does that even mean? I can't deal with like the hippie stuff, surrender. And it's like the universe is going to take me up into that surrender position all the way up until my birthday this year. Usually I'm into my birthday's in late September. And usually I'm kind of into the new word right around now. But it's like every day, it's like I'm cramming for a final exam or something. Something new is like, you ready to say uncle? And I'm like, yes, I'm ready to say uncle. I realize this is a lesson that I have to learn. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for the learning opportunity. You knows best. And I have found myself in some really strange scenarios where my pride was on the line, my comfort zone, my complacency was on the line, and for me to say yes, yeah, okay, I'm down, and push myself out on a limb was very transformative in a lot of ways. I'm hearing to tell you guys if you have not yet read Shonda Rhimes' The Year of Yes, that would be a really good book for you to check out, okay? All right, so what goddess do we have to support you? You have Athena, inner wisdom. You know what to do. Trust your inner wisdom and take appropriate action without delay. Yeah, you guys are spreading yourself way too thin. Okay, you know you can't take that load, and it's nothing personal, okay? It's just that once you put that down, once you put down some of the load or split the load up or something like that, once you start doing that for yourself, you're going to see that there's something else waiting for you on the other side. You know, it's like that quintessential, you know, work smarter, not harder. Or you don't have to carry it all at once. Put a couple of sticks down, pick a couple back up on your way back. You know, so right now your inner wisdom is saying you're spread too thin, and I feel you guys digging your heels in right now, and it's you guys are so stubborn. It's not a personal indictment. You know, it's not I can't carry it. It's, you know, I choose not to carry this much because it is not the most appropriate application of my energy. It's, you have to think strategically, okay? And the 10 is an end of a cycle, so you guys are long since putting off putting some of this load down. So I need you guys to kind of like decide over the next 4 months, what can you carry, or what do you choose to carry, and why? Okay. All right. Gemini, my Gemini friends, 6 of Pentacles. Okay, good. So that's upright, and this is about balance, which comes as no surprise to me, given that you guys are the twins, and I like to tease Geminis and say, who am I talking to today? Am I talking to am I talking to the good twin, or am I talking to the bad twin? Is it Jekyll or Hyde today? You know, it looks like you guys are sort of well, you could be at one of two extremes right now. With the 6 of Pentacles, there's always someone who is holding the resources, and they're sharing it with 2 other people who have to rely on that person for, you know, crumbs. So with this, I'm drawn to the rat and the jay on this card. That little bird is sitting above them with the scales here, and it's designating how much each person gets. And I'm getting the sense that, especially with the Knight of Pentacles in reverse at the bottom of the deck, that a lot of you are feeling a little bit more like you're waiting on someone to give you what you deserve, and you're having to wait at basically their pleasure. You know, like you have to wait on them to give you what you deserve, what's your birthright. Everybody has the right to eat, so why are you waiting on this bird in a tree to say, oh, well, you'll get 2 crumbs today? You know, like, so it's a mentality of lack, essentially, is what we're looking at here. Is someone who thinks that they are in a position to have to rely on other people to give them what they need. So your challenge for the next 4 months is going to be to right that balance and to become the person who's holding the scale. So you become the person that is, you know, generous and has enough to spare for everyone. And then you can kind of balance out what you need versus, like, and I'm hearing frivolity. So for those of you who are spending a little too much on like pastimes and getting subscriptions, if you have subscription services to like too many television like outlets, or maybe too many gym memberships, or too many, you know, whatever, it's time to let some of those go, because I think that that's actually what's keeping you impoverished. And it's like, you know, stay off the Instagram, stay off the Facebook, because those ads are geared towards what you like. So if you find yourself on Amazon late at night with a glass of wine, they've got your number by now, right? So with the 6 of Pentacles, your challenge is going to be taking your mentality that there's not enough to go around, that there's more to change it to there's more where that came from. Okay, because if you believe that there's never more where that came from, there never will be. So that you have more than enough, you know, and it's figuring out how to streamline your finances in the sense that, you know, you always feel abundant, and you can kind of strategize and say, okay, well, I'm stuck with this paycheck. Like, I was a graduate student for the last 6 years and said, well, I'm stuck with this paycheck. How can I supplement my income, you know, or what I need? Is there any way I can barter or trade with people, you know? So being really smart about how you're balancing out your money, I think, is going to be super important for you all. And if any of you all are in partnerships or relationships, even with family members, you know, if you're the person who is, now we're going to flip it, okay? So if you're the person who's constantly handing out, you know, giving handouts, sometimes financially, but also energetically, that's a resource as well, you know, and it's like these people will not go away. They're always, you know, every time I turn around, it's like from Friday, every time I'm in the kitchen, you in the kitchen, like, You know, what are you doing here? You know, um, and Smokey later's like, y'all never have two things that match in this house. You know, like you have cornflakes and no milk. You know, that kind of thing. So it's like, if you continue to give until you give out, you're never going to have enough for yourself, let alone to spare for other people. So just kind of watch the family member friend dynamic. If you have Gemini placement somewhere, if someone's pulling too much on your resources, whether you're in a romantic relationship with them or not, or at work, you know, like if you're the one signing the checks and the grants and the things, you know, and somebody just keeps coming up and they're running out of this and that, like, you know, being able to strategize a little more efficiently about your budget is going to come in super useful for you. Okay, so you know, you can't, it's going to be, you're going to have to be half Jekyll and half Hyde. You can't be one or the other at this point, because extremes in either case are not good. We need you to find a balance right now with your resources. Okay, all right, so what goddess do you have for you? Vesta, home. Your household situation is improving either through a move or a healthy change in the occupants. So yeah, this is what I was talking about. Like if you are someone who is the benefactor as opposed to the person who is, you know, receiving, you know, it feels like you guys are giving until you give out almost. You know, now if you are the person who is in the state of receiving, you need to start figuring out, how can you do this on your own? So you don't have to rely on someone else to give you what they think you need, because what that does is it creates a dependency, and a codependency. You know, well, why should I change anything if everything's fine? You know, I have what I need. They give it to me. I just have to kind of like, you guys are opposite of the Taurians in a way, in that, you know, there's kind of no pride involved when you ask, when you're asking for help. But it looks like your home situation is going to improve, but it's going to be about balancing those extremes, you know, figuring out your budget, figuring out your energetic budget, who you can spare time to, and who you can kind of say, you know what, I'm going to say this with all the love in my heart, like, it's time for you to figure it out on your own now, okay? You're going to have to make do with what I've given you. I can't give you any more, okay? Okay, so next we have Cancer, my Cancers. So I have Cancer rising and a Cancer moon. So I'm more Cancer than I am Virgo. I have a lot of water in my chart. So you guys got the Three of Cups. Surprise, surprise. So the Three of Cups, cups represent, you know, water energy, and your challenge is going to be over the next 4 months. I feel like some of you all are indulging a little too much in partying, doing a lot of self-soothing, a lot of self-medicating, and you're probably doing it around a couple of friends. You know, you're the people you can always call to have a good time. And I feel like it's like these people aren't really going anywhere soon. You know, you have a sloth on this card, you have a dog, and you have a baby fawn, and it's like they just got their party hats on and nobody's moving. You know, well, the baby fawn can't go very far because she's young. The sloth can't go anywhere because it's not in nature to go really fast anywhere. The dog has the most ability to move. So, you know, if this is you, you need to kind of break away from the pack at this point, because your comrades, they don't have your best interest at heart. Otherwise, they wouldn't be saying, you know, come on out. You know, they'd be understanding when you said, look, I got commitments, I got stuff to do. You know, so your challenge is going to be finding the real reason that you will have to celebrate by the year's end. The Three of Cups is a celebratory card, but it can also be a card of overindulgence. And if you are going to indulge, make sure that it's for the right reasons. And again, paired with this Knight of Pentacles in reverse, I feel like it's weighing on some of you guys' bank account. Your habits. You know, if you're eating out all the time, it's like, go to Costco, okay, or whatever, and get everything that you need for the week. You know, pop it in the convection oven, pop it in the microwave, meal plan. Just take one day and do that, so you're not making snap reactions or judgments and just spending way too much money with friends because that's what they do, because they're young or slow. I don't know. You're gonna have to be more self-sufficient in figuring out what it is that you want to celebrate and why. And I feel like for a lot of you all, has to do with body image. And the people you surround yourself with, I mean, you are in the same tax bracket. You will end up there, or you're already there. And if you want to level up, if you're trying to level up, you really need to upgrade the people you surround yourself with. So, I mean, leveling up does take commitment. It does take diligence, and it takes strategy and a refined approach to discipline. So again, having a vision for what it is that you want to celebrate by the year's end. It's not too late for you all to start, but I think you're going to have to get rid of the people who are just like sort of feeding the feeding the beast here in you. The thing that Cancers are really hard workers. I'm not saying you aren't hard workers, but I think you play as hard as you work. And I'm saying we do. We play as hard as we work. When we play really hard. Sometimes the play can actually, it's like, okay, well, when are we done playing? Because we have to go back to work now, So there's a season for play, and there's a season for getting back to what you're doing. So if you're overindulging, and it could be with a person, I just feel really strongly that there's somebody around you that is taking up a lot of your focus and attention away from what it is that you're supposed to be doing right now. Whether you're in a work relationship, a romantic relationship, or friendship, I just feel like someone is not, and it's not that they're like malicious or malevolent or anything like that. It's just that it's like that, oh gosh, Too Short song, On My Level, Wiz Khalifa, On My Level. They're not on your level right now, okay? You're trying to level up, and they're like, well, we'll just hang out here, So that's going to be your challenge, is the company that you keep moving forward into the future. Make new friends. There are a lot of people in the world. Goddess card is Mary Magdalene. Unconditional love. Love yourself, others, and every situation, no matter what the outward appearances may be. So I notice here that with Mary Magdalene, like the unconditional love that we were talking about earlier with Guinevere under true love, and it's so interesting that they're like right under one another here, is love yourself first. Then you can love others and the situations, no matter what the outward appearances may be. So, it's just like, okay, guys, my higher self recognizes your higher self from over here. I have work to do, and this is me showing myself unconditional love. I value myself enough to want to see improvement, to want to not stay stuck in one position. Love is, oh gosh, who said it? I was listening to somebody today. It was a psychic consultants lady. I love her channel. Her British accent is like to die for, and her readings are so elegant. She said love is a journey. Getting to know someone is a journey, and getting to know yourself is a journey. So you can't do that if other people are stagnant around you. Okay, so that's going to be your challenge, is figuring out what kind of people do I want to surround myself with, and why. If you're trying to level up in terms of your job, you need to go and find a mentor or somebody who has productive habits that you can emulate. Those are the people you want to surround yourself with. Someone who models what success looks like, at least at a fiscal level. In terms of partnerships and relationships, you may have a partner who does not necessarily want to they may want to sit at home and just binge on Netflix all day. And it's like, okay, that's great, but I have a job, and while you're at it, you should get one too, So if there's somebody in your environment who does not have your best interests at heart and doesn't understand the sacrifices that you have to make to level up, then that person needs to be excused or dismissed from your life. I don't care how you do it, okay? You have 4 more months to figure it out. All right, I have to be a little tough love with you guys, but, you have a shell for a reason. You can take it, okay? All right, so my Leo people, you have 4 of Cups in reverse. You guys get so restless. Oh my gosh. So we have the 4 of Cups, and again, Leos are actually very sensitive creatures. They come off as bold and brash, but oh my gosh, do not hurt their feelings. My dad is a Leo, and they judge loyalty and the caliber of friendship by who comes through and who shows up for them. So with the Four of Cups in reverse, this is someone who is a bit bored with or just feeling restless. Like they might want to go into a direction with a partnership, and they may be dealing with somebody who is making them wait. And a Leo does not like to wait. But this could also be a new opportunity that is, they're waiting to hear back from somebody on an application, or, you know, something that they put their heart into and like the jury's still out, you know? And so they're getting really restless, waiting to hear, like, I put all my emotion and my time into this. What now? You know, bleeding money. And, you know, Leos, again, my North Node is in Leo too. And like, I'm surrounded by them. I love Leo women. Leo men and I, we have a different kind of relationship and understanding. But the Four of Cups in reverse, this is someone who's not seeing the gifts that are sitting right in front of them. They're focusing too much on what happened like in the past, you know, what happened last time. They're not seeing that the divine has something better. It's right in front of them. This is an option, because they're kind of living in a fantasy world. And the Four of Cups in reverse is someone who doesn't even want to acknowledge, you know, any of that. They're not really doing the kind of soul searching they need to make a choice. So the next 4 months for you, and this is ironic, this is the Four of Cups, is going to be about, you know, finding out what's actually in your immediate vicinity that you can also pour your heart into in the meantime, you know, while you're waiting to hear back from this. It doesn't have to be such a big deal. It can be just a passion project or something that may turn into something down the road that you can really put your whole heart into. But, you know, not wanting to rush the process is going to be really important for Leos, and to figure out what to do in the meantime while you are waiting, so you don't feel like, you know, kicking over tables and stuff like that because you're frustrated, because you're bored. Okay? Like, Leos constantly have to be stimulated. They're always looking at the next shiny object. And, like, when that doesn't come through, they get really kind of, like, antsy. Okay? So, your goddess is our Kira blooming. You're just getting started. So, have patience with yourself and the process, and do not give up. So, it's very synchronous right now. With this Four of Cups, it's like, just pump the brakes. Like, this is a 1 year. Like, it's like the little kid who has the science experiment from school, and, you know, like the little bean sprout in a styrofoam cup, and it's like, you know, they came home from kindergarten, they were so happy to grow food, and their teacher told them, okay, all your bean sprout needs to grow is sun and light, and it'll do the rest, right? And so you come home and the kids pour water, you know, from the sink, you know, just filling the cup up, and it drowns a little seed. And then it's like, oh, maybe I put too much water because nothing's growing. No, you made a swamp in a cup, kid, you know. And then you just put it out in the sun during a drought to dry it out, and then it can't grow because it's too much. It's too much of one thing or too much of the other. The alchemy for you is going to be patience, and, like, not just staring at your bean sprout in a cup with big old eyes over the countertop. Like, is it here yet? Is it here yet? Is it? No. Go do something else. You know, go do something else to take your mind off of it. And by the time it shows up, by the time what you're waiting on is there for you, it's not that you'll forgotten all about it. It's just that, you know, it won't be like you've put everything into it, you know. You're spreading yourself out a little bit. Like, you don't have to have just like one bean sprout in a cup. You can go about figuring out over the next 4 months, how do I diversify my time and my talent? Maybe I want a garden, a whole garden of bean sprouts. I don't know. You know, maybe I want to try sweet potatoes. Who knows? Go diversify what your interests are, so you don't have just one thing. And so when you get bored with one thing, waiting for the results, you can kick into gear something else. Okay? So have patience with yourself. You know, this is all about process. All right. Okay, Virgos, my Virgo brethren and sistren. All right. So we got the moon, which is a major arcana. This is actually the first major arcana out. The moon in reverse is all about not being able to see your way forward at all. And as a Virgo, I can personally testify for someone whose lesson was surrender all year, going on a full calendar year, my intuition for my own personal life has been completely off. You know, it's like the stuff that I thought that I could trust, the people I thought I could trust, pastimes, events, that kind of thing, totally not happening this year for me. So I've had to be able to like trust the process. And the moon in reverse, well, the moon is all about secrets and mysteries anyway when it's upright. In reverse, it's like I have no idea where I'm going, like no clue whatsoever. You know, so this is actually very kind of a painful card to see for me right now because it's bringing up some fairly recent uncomfortable events. So, you know, this is about also creating fears in one's own mind and exacerbating issues and creating illusions. And like, it's like how the house is fine in the daylight, you know, I'm not scared of anything. As soon as the sun goes down, it's like, did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? And it's just the house making noises, but you're like, somebody's in the basement, ain't they? You know? Actually, I'll tell you a funny story. Like, if you follow me on Facebook, then you saw my post the other day about somebody knocking on my door. I just moved to a new town, and I have this big, nice house all to myself that I'm renting, and new to the neighborhood, and haven't really met any neighbors or anything, so don't really know anybody. You know, I have the lights on. I'm a night owl, so I sleep. I sleep in spurts, and I have a storm door and I have a front door. So I typically lock the storm door at nighttime, you know, single woman, and the inside door. Well, I guess the other night I had not locked the storm door because someone yanks it open and pounds on my front door, you know, at 12:30 at night. And it's like, whoa, I was paralyzed. I was terrified because it's like, I didn't see that coming. And I posted on Facebook the picture of Fred Sanford holding his heart, and people were laughing. It's like, you know, I'm funny when I'm like terrified or stressed out. I get funnier, you know, but that's what it felt like, you know, and it was scary. So I was like, okay, let me call the cops because I don't know who that was. And I don't know this neighborhood. I don't know the people yet. So I don't know if that's someone just messing with me or like a delivery was gone wrong, or I don't know yet. But you best believe I slept fully clothed with like all the lights on and a machete under my pillow. You know, and if I hadn't just come from like a crazy experience involving neighbors, then I might not have been so paralyzed with fear, you know. So we take our experiences with us into the future, and those color how we handle confrontation. How we handle our challenges. And to not know where you're going, it's literally like, of course the money's not going to be coming as fast as you would like, because you literally have no direction. So it's like, Bianca, how dare you tell me to, you know, ask for what I want and what I was like, it's like I can't even see my hand in front of my face right now. Oh, you know what I want? I want to see my hand in front of my face. That'd be great, you know. You know, that would be awesome. So, so the challenge is going to be, I think, moving forward for the next 4 months for Virgos, is going to be, you know, not making more out of a situation than what's actually there. Like, don't create the monsters in your mind. There are too many real life monsters we have to worry about. Like, and I'm hearing to say it's not that serious. You know, like, you've made it into this huge thing. You know, part of the problem is because Virgos really enjoy their solitude, and when you spend a lot of time by yourself, I might just have to do a special reading just for Virgos because our birthday month is upon us here pretty soon, and it's just you know, and it's like our imaginations and our feels, Virgos feel very deeply, and we're very sensitive. Okay, we're like Ferraris, like we're highly tuned, you know, our intuition is highly refined, you know. But if we make up something in our mind because we've been daydreaming about all of the best and worst case scenarios, like that can be monstrous. It can be absolutely monstrous, you know, when we have to confront it. So Dial it down, guys. Okay, dial it down. Whatever you're worried about right now, dial it back. Dial it back, okay? Dial it back. It's not that serious. And I'm talking to myself too, okay? I'm in here with you. Okay, so what goddess? You have Nematona. And I was going to say, you guys might want to, like, meditate. The way I meditate is I paint or draw. I get bored if I have to just sit there. And I'm like, I can count my breaths for like 5 minutes, okay? But after that, I can paint repetitive motions or draw repetitive motions for hours. So my studio space is my sacred space, So this is create an altar or visit a power place to connect with the divine. So if your intuition is off, then you need to find an outlet to go plug back in, like your cell phone. So if your intuition right now is on, 2%, you need to go create a place for yourself where you can charge, not unlike the Borg. I feel like Virgos are like 7 of 9 from Star Trek, Voyager. The woman who was raised by Borg, captured as a child and raised by the Borg, and so she's got human tendencies, but she's like mostly machine to everybody else. But like Captain Janeway sees how warm and tender she is, and she tries to bring that out of her. Like, that's a Virgo. Or if you don't really know like that series, like just what a Vulcan is, someone who doesn't like really emote publicly. So create this safe space for yourself, okay? And that's going to be the place where you have to recharge. For me, it's my home. I come back to my home, my front porch, my living room, my cats. Like, it's like that stuff I understand. I don't understand the rest of it. So I'm going to go retreat right now like a Cancer. Because I got that Cancer energy. Okay, guys? So just, calm down and create a safe space for yourself. Okay, Librans. I'm on the cusp of being a Libra. Temperance. So alchemy, that's what we were talking about earlier. So I actually identify a lot with Librans. They still drive me crazy, though, because it's like, make a decision, bruh. Like, make a choice. And you have the Temperance card here in reverse, another major arcana. And so we're coming up on Libra season too, not just Virgo season, but Libra season. We're on our way out of Leo season, but this is Temperance, and this is actually a fire energy. It represents the sign of Sagittarius typically, but in this case, it's about balance, and that's what you guys are all about. Like, it's figuring out, it's like the scales, figuring out the best possible scenario for your abundance and happiness and well-being. Someone who has, a foot in fantasy and, illusion and a foot on firm ground. And in reverse, this is like right now, your life is like, it's not balanced at all. And it's like you're rushing through it is what I'm getting. You're rushing through decisions that you need to really take your time. It's like you're reacting and not responding. You don't have all the information yet. And I feel like you are on the right track, but you're just impatient and you need to chill. Okay. So, because in reverse, this is someone who has no idea what they're doing. This is an alchemist's card. This is someone who does not have the refinement necessary to make that choice yet. This is a cosmic process. It's a divine process. It's about understanding cycles and rhythms, and that you can't force things. So for Librans, I'm actually a bit surprised to see this, because usually you guys are like, pretty good at like weighing things out, but maybe in a 1 year, you're thrown off, maybe new beginnings in love, maybe new beginnings in career, maybe new beginnings in places like where you live, that kind of thing, or all of the above. And maybe you're just off your game right now. So the next 4 months are going to be for you about leveling out. Okay. And I'm getting to say, stop being so prominent. Like, don't put all your business out there. You don't have to externally process everything in front of everybody on Facebook. Somebody is doing too much thinking out loud, and I think it's hurting their chances of actual progress, because it's like, you air out all your feels online, and that feels like you got it off your chest, but it's not productive. And I feel like people who may be poised to help you are like looking at you like, that's a loose cannon if I've ever seen one, and you need to chill on that and just go within and ask for guidance, whether that's from your own gut or from the cosmos, ask for guidance. So your goddess is Maat, fairness. Look, scales. The situation will be handled in a fair and just manner. Isn't this amazing how nice and synchronous this entire reading has been, if you've stuck with me? Everybody gets a different anecdote. So your goddess who is with you, who's got your back, is that inner ability that you have to level out. If you're worried that somebody is like playing you or, abusing your kindness or something like that, don't worry about them. Don't worry about how you're going to get them back and you're going to prove them wrong and all that stuff. Worry about balancing yourself, your own scales here. I love seeing Mott. I love seeing this card because this means that justice is on your side. Okay? So if you've done all that you can do to rectify a situation, then leave it alone. Okay? Just leave it alone. So, that air energy, you can switch on a dime when you want to, and that's what I love about you is like, you guys are totally like, oh, okay, is that what we're doing? Let's go do that then, so I love that about you. Now is the time to kind of like go within and say, okay, we're not going to dwell on this anymore. We're not going to spend too much time over here fantasizing about what the shoulda, woulda, couldas and what I'm going to tell that person and so on and so forth. We're going to actually be proactive and not just deal with situations as they come. We're going to strategize and we're going to allow time to wait into that strategizing session and know that you have fairness on your side, okay? So taking the next 4 months to be intentional and not overreact, I'm hearing, and not be reactive. You gotta chill, okay? You gotta fall back a little bit. Okay? All right, next we have Scorpio. Scorpio. I'm flipping these over in real time and I'm just giggling because I'm thinking of people I know who I'm probably going to send this link to. I just got off the phone with a Scorpio friend of mine, a dear friend of mine last night, and I know another young lady who I really admire. She's a Scorpio. My Venus is in Scorpio. That means I love like a Scorpio. And if you want to know someone else who has their Venus in Scorpio, it's Beyonce. So that's how I love, she's also a Virgo. Remind me to tell you guys someday about like my philosophy of like how Beyonce stole my identity when we were between lives. So anyway, but it's someone who's very intense, and at their lower vibration, a Scorpio. Okay, so this is the example that I gave to my girlfriend yesterday. I said, okay, at a high vibration, Scorpios are sexy. They're like sensual, and if you're thinking about them in terms of water, because it's a water sign, Scorpios are like, and I know it's a scorpion, okay, and I know that's like you guys' power animal, but like I like to think of you all in terms of water. So the high vibration, you guys are dolphins. You were like skipping through the ocean, like, making all the clacking sounds, and you have really big brains and neural centers and all that stuff, and you're like, twirling in the sun, and just super awesome. At your lowest vibrations, you guys are like anglerfish in the dark depths of the deep ocean. And the only light on is just this one little light that you leave on to bait things that you need to eat, right? And if someone sets you off, it's like, whoa, look at that set of jaws, and you can get really kind of horrifying, and just clamp down on something and just drown it. So you have the Seven of Cups here, and it's a water energy, and it's speaking of illusions with the Librans, Seven of Cups is about too many options to choose. It's about, what do I put my heart into? What do I put my desires into? Who do I love? Why do I love them? It's just, you don't know what's going to like kill you, or is a wolf in sheep's clothing or a sheep in wolf's clothing. You don't really know, and you're just kind of dizzied by all of the options here. The problem with that is if you guys do too much internalizing, it drags you down to that kind of anglerfish space and renders you inert, particularly with the Knight of Pentacles here in reverse. So if this is in relationship to a relationship, and you have several suitors, or maybe like even a few suitors, or someone who, you know, is trying to holler at you, but you really don't know what you want in a person. Maybe you're on like a dating app like Tinder or something like that, and you just really don't know what you want. You know, the next 4 months is going to be about, actually, I was going to say, well, picking, but I don't think it's about picking for you. It's about actually enjoying this part of the process, the daydreaming, okay? It's about letting yourself explore options, you know, and you can pick next year. Because I feel like a lot of you all have just been a bit overwhelmed by probably, you know, financial commitments at work, and you guys deserve a little bit of playtime. So, but be the dolphin when you do it. Don't be the anglerfish. Does that make sense? Like, don't let yourself descend too far into that negative space, because remember, the Devil card was right underneath that Knight of Pentacles when I did the underlying energy. So when you get into the negative self-talk, like, I'm not worthy of this job, I'm not worthy of this career, I'm not worthy of this, love, that takes you down into scary anglerfish area. Okay, and we know how deep and dark y'all can get. So I know how deep and dark y'all can get in matters of the heart, because that's how deep and dark I get. You know, it's intense. You know, nothing less than surrender is acceptable, right? But we want you to function at a higher vibration. So enjoy dating. Enjoy getting to know people, so you know what to turn down when someone comes talking crazy, you know, or offering you a cup, or wanting to take you out, and maybe they have, I don't know why, I feel like somebody has substance addiction or substance abuse issues, and they kind of want to, like, they may end up dragging you down that road with them. So when you're out, like, you need to know what your options are, so you know what to walk away from and what to reject by the end of the year, and I think that you will. I think if you are looking for work, something you want to put your whole heart into, if you're thinking of switching jobs or starting a new gig or a new career path, or you really want to step into your life purpose, this is the dreamer phase. This is the dream state, okay? So this is a chance for you to just really luxuriate in, like, not having to actually have an answer. It doesn't have to be a thing right now, because the thing is once you do pick, you know, and you've taken your time, then you really know that this is the thing that's for you, because you've taken the time to consider your options. Okay, so it's kind of like a fun house right now for you all. So just whatever it is that you're trying to choose between, Scorpio, go towards what pleases you, what makes you smile, and not what makes you feel like a scary fish with crazy teeth that captures unsuspecting baby squid. Okay. In the depths of the ocean. All right. So your goddess is Cordelia. Okay, so what was I just saying? Go outside. And if you look at this card, she's by the seaside. You've been indoors too long. Go outside and get some fresh air. So, like, you know, y'all been living in the cave now. Okay, it's still nice outside if you're in the northern hemisphere. So, like, go outside. And, you know, I'm not asking you to exercise outside. Who does that, right? Sociopaths. Just sit out on the porch, get some fresh air, you know, go, like, hug a tree, squeeze up on a tree, take your shoes off, stand in the grass. When's the last time you felt grass between your toes? You know, that kind of thing. You know, and the earth will anchor you. We all have the different elements in our chart. And while you're exploring and daydreaming, it's good to, like, have some sort of anchor there. So yes, go outside, enjoy the view, and that will raise your vibration. So you're going to feel really good, particularly with the solar eclipse here. I mean, you need sun energy, you need sunlight, you know, you need clarity, we need sun. So we actually have a lot in common with plants, physiologically speaking. So go outside, get some fresh air, just sit on the porch, you know, breathe, whatever you do, but do it outside, okay? All right. Next up, we have my Sagittarius with death in reverse. Okay, so you guys, okay. I've been dealing with Sages all year, for the last year. I didn't really know much about this sign until I realized I was surrounded by them. Sagittarians are very, you guys can be so convicted. And it's like, what are you convicted about? And it's like, I don't know. But I know I believe this thing. And it is true. You guys are the archers, you're the truth seekers, and you've also had Saturn in your sign for the last 3 years, and it's up on December 19th. So you should be feeling a lot more like yourself, like the good old days, the glory days when you knew what you were doing, and you and you weren't just kind of like eking by, because Saturn in your sign means that it has forged in you a kind of resilience in terms of your life purpose and what it is that you do for work and what it is that you do to make money. Right now, some of you all are putting off a transformation. You're stalling because you don't know what's on the other side, and that drives a Sag crazy. It's another fire energy. So right now, so the lovers, major arcana for Aries, major arcana for Libra, and you guys have a major arcana for Virgo. So that's at least 2 out of 3 of the fire signs have a major arcana. Is that right? Yep. 2 out of the 3 fire signs have a major arcana, which means this is like, a big moment for you, cosmically speaking, right? So you guys are stalling a transformation out. And I don't know if it's that you all are stalling it out or it is being stalled out for you, but I think it's messing with your money. I think it's messing with your perception of yourself. And you guys need to feel confident. You need to feel like you are unconfined, and you need to have the flexibility to do what you want. You guys are like the engineers of the zodiac. Like, you guys are happy in the engine room, back to Star Trek. You guys are happy in the engine room, tinkering away. You like puzzles. You like putting things together and tinkering until you get it right. And it's never right for a Sag, but like you like to figure things out. So if you're looking at a career, the transformation is here. But it's like, okay, you have a few more months left before that transformation can descend. So it's like, what are you going to do in the meantime to prepare for when are you going to be ready when the transformation shows up is the real question here. Are you going to be ready for it? When everything that you've ever wanted shows up in your life, are you going to be ready for it? So it's almost like I'm getting the sensation that you guys are thinking like 8 months down the road when you really need to be thinking like 3 months down the road. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like you guys imagine so far into the future about what things are going to look like when they're done that it's like you skip steps, and then you get to that step and you're like, dang, that's going to take a lot longer than I thought. So it's like, yeah, it looks good on paper, but enacting that change, are you going to be ready? Are you going to be ready when change comes for you? So right now it's in the reverse position because it means the transformation is not complete yet, but it will be. And when things take off for you after Saturn leaves your sign, okay, and it goes into Capricorn. Saturn actually really likes to be in Capricorn. It doesn't like being in Sagittarius. So if it's been particularly rough on you, Sun, Moon, or Rising, particularly in places of career and, what you do to keep, food on the table, and your internal fire's lit, is about to leave your sign and go hang out in Capricorn where it really likes to be. And I'll talk about Capricorn in a minute, but you're about to move very quickly. Okay, so be ready, get ready. It's like when they say get your affairs in order. If someone tells you like you're about to like kick the bucket or whatever, this is in an energetic sense. So everybody else's transformation has been coming this year. People are getting new jobs. People are getting into new relationships. People are getting new bonuses and cars and all this stuff. And you're just like watching everybody like miserable. Like, when's it my turn? Your turn is after December 19th. But don't think that you haven't been doing the work along the way. You've been doing the work for the last 3 years. You're ready for it. And now it's like waiting for, I work with incarcerated people with workshops, and the closer they get to their release date, it's like this more stir crazy they get. You know, so when you were counting on this one day, or this, you can feel it coming. You know, it's like a road trip when, you know, you've done a 12-hour road trip and you only have 1 hour left. That last hour is like the most critical hour, where it's like, I could run off the road any minute now and fall asleep. And it's like, you made it 12 hours. You know, stay vigilant, stay alert, stay on top of your game, and think about what you're going to do at the end of this year, and not like the end of next year. You know what I mean? So your transformation's coming. You've been doing the legwork. You're doing fine. It's not you. It's the universe, okay? But just be ready for things to move real fast, because when death comes in, there has to be an end to a cycle before a new one can start. All right. Goddess, High Priestess, Donna. You have divine knowledge that can help others through your spiritual teaching. So, you know, I also think that Saturn was so hard on you guys because you all are going to be like helping other people. Like, you're going to midwife their transformation process too. Some of you all are in careers that are going to require you to speak in public. Some of you are going to, you're educators, or you're going to move into education, or you have the ability to educate in the role that you're in. But I think a lot of Sagittarians, writers, artisans, like, I think there are a lot of artsy Sages out there who are going to have more of a leadership role than they ever dreamed possible, especially with this major arcana here, and especially that it's the death card. You all are stepping into a High Priestess energy. So Donna's got your back. And what you have learned will come in useful for you. This is actually not just about you moving forward. This is about the collective consciousness and what you are going to be doing to help raise everybody's vibration. So you'll be able to tell people, hey man, like, the light at the end of the tunnel is not a train. Aren't you glad? All right. Okay, so we have next up Capricorn. So you have the Knight of Swords in reverse, and I'm saying because I know a Capricorn, and he always gets the Knight. He always gets Knight cards, and he gets the Knight of Swords quite a bit. And usually the Knight of Swords is fast communication. It's sharp intellect. It's a champion. In reverse, it's someone who's a champion without a cause. And so I feel like Capricorns have all this energy, but right now it's like you guys, I think, are a little bit lost in terms of your direction. And it's like you have the skill set, you have the drive, you have the desire, you know, the body is willing, the mind doesn't know what it wants. So your next 4 months is about finding your cause, finding what you're going to be a champion of this cycle, okay? You still have time, okay? And I want to say there's no rush, but there kind of is. It's like you have enough information right now that, like, you can actually pick something. So if you are feeling like you're stuck analytically, you know, it's like you're keeping yourself stuck at this point. It's like, just pick, okay? Like, you can change your mind. But Capricorns are like the grandfathers of the zodiac. They're the sea goat. You know, when they're very stubborn. So when they get their mind wrapped around something, like, it has to be a certain way, there's little somebody can do to convince them otherwise. Which is endearing if they love you, you know, but very frustrating if you were trying to, like, collaborate with them. Or it can be. But I like Capricorns because they're just they can be very warm and fatherly and compassionate and supportive. But I think for the next 4 months, it's like, okay, guys, it's, you know, basically poop or get off the pot. You know, you have enough information now. Okay, it's time to move forward. So the next 4 months is going to be about picking something to run towards, and also why you want that thing. And if it's just because, like, it's part of, like, the overall mission, that's fine. But whatever you have coming up next, like, it's very similar to Sagittarius, and, like, you better be ready to fight for it or them. You know, you want a direction. If you don't, it's like if you don't have a direction, a personal direction, put your direction in service of the greater good. Like, what are you bringing to the table? Like, what are you doing to help the collective energy rise? What are you doing to help the resonance levels peak? You know, what are you doing to help everybody else? You know, so I think that when people are kind of like stuck, it's because they become really self-absorbed. Well, if you have all that energy to think about your own situation, then you have that energy to apply to a cause bigger than yourself. I don't care if you have to go volunteer. I don't care if you have to like go be a big brother, big sister. Go find something to help you find direction. You know, you don't have to do it alone. So that's going to be your challenge over the next 4 months, is to kind of come up out of yourself, you know, take your armor off for a minute, get a breath, get a drink of water, and then pull your compass out and say, okay, where am I headed? And then head that way. Okay? So the goddess that you have supporting you, well, you have my favorite. You have Yemaya. It's a golden opportunity. Important doors are opening for you right now. Walk through them. So it's like, I think you guys are like missing the doors because they're not where you expected them to be. You know, I think Cappies have a tendency to, again, be very fixated on their idea of things. And it's like, sometimes you can't come in through the front door. You know, sometimes you have to come up through the floorboards. Sometimes you got to break a window. Sometimes you got to come down through the attic. And I almost didn't. I usually have Yemaya sitting on like my bookshelf. So it's been a while since she's been a part of this deck. So I love seeing her step in. One of the wonderful things about Yemaya, the golden opportunity, in the description of the book, it talks about how she never gets tired of offering golden opportunities. So it's like, you can't pick wrong. You know, you can't pick wrong. So be there when the door opens, wherever it is. Be open to the idea that there are doors that aren't just the front door or the back door. Okay? Okay. Aquarius, the Chariot. Very nice, Aquarius. Okay. So we have air energy, the Chariot. Okay, good. Major Arcana. And so it's like you guys are, you know, I feel really good about you guys. It's like, it feels like Aquarius is like, you guys are in a good place. Like, you finally sort of roped together all the crazy in your life, and you finally just reined it in. You got a handle on it. And now it's like kind of getting away with you. So if you just started a new job and it's just sort of like running, you know, you're kind of like trying to keep up with it. It's like the chase scene in the highways, in the movies on the highway, where like, you know, someone's running behind a truck trying to catch onto the back. It feels like that kind of energy for you all. It's like, okay, got the right truck, you know, got the right highway. Whoa, it's going 80 miles an hour. You know, how do I keep up? So I think that's going to be your challenge, is I think things are moving very quickly for Aquarians right now. And that's like a really beautiful thing to see. That's great. Just hold on. Just hold on. I think that's all you guys really have to worry about, is just holding on. Hold on tight. You know, you did it. I feel like this is like a level of accomplishment for you all that you've really been looking forward to. And it's just, okay, so you're basically like a poster child right now for like what like the Sagittarius and the Capricorns are about to walk into. So you guys are a really good example of that. So hopefully if people are listening to one or the other, they're listening to this part too. But like, yeah, it's like you guys have finally like figured out some sort of pin code or combination, and it's like, okay, we're off to the races. Whoa, this is moving super fast, you know, like how is it August fast, you know? So yeah, so Cappies and Saggies, if you're still listening, you know, take a lesson from Aquarius that like once things show up for you, they really show up in a big way. This is a major arcana. It's mastery. You've earned the right to be here. It's self-acknowledgement. It's beautiful. And this could be for relationships too. This could be for a partnership. Like maybe you met the person, you know, your soulmate, the person of your dreams, and they want to get married like now. And you're like, oh, what? You know, or maybe you started a new job and it just showed up and it's like, here you go. You ready? And it's like, well, wait, I got to pack. It's like, you don't have time to pack. Come on. So that's the kind of energy that we're looking at with you all. So it's going to be besting that energy. It feels like it's just very fast, like things are moving very quickly for you all. So, oh, look at that. See, look at that synchronicity. Abundancia, prosperity. The universe is pouring its abundance out to you. Be open to receiving. So yeah, so I wrote like this on Facebook. I have these little freestyles that I've been writing, and I talked about how like you get so used to, and my South Node is an Aquarius, so that's a kind of mastery over that sign. I'm coming in having learned the lessons Aquarius has to teach me, and then I'm heading towards Leo. I'm still trying to figure Leo out. I have a whole lifetime to do that though. So I wrote about how, again, when everything shows up that you've been wanting and you're used to tap dancing for crumbs, and I compared it to the challah bread, like the beautiful, loaf of Jewish bread that you just pull hunks off. It's like, you've been tap dancing and someone just kind of spoon feeds you a little piece here, just hands just break you off a little piece there, and it's whatever, and you're so used to doing that, you're just happy to get a, little snack, and then all of a sudden, everything flips on a dime and everything shows up in your life at the same time. New job, new love, new career, new path, new money, like everything is just here and your whole life is in upheaval. It's like having the entire loaf covered in Nutella shoved down your throat. It's like, whoa, that's prosperity. So it's like, how do I piecemeal this up so I can eat should I put some in the freezer? Like, how is this going to work? Should I share it with friends? Of course, always. Abundancious prosperity, there's more where that came from. This is a mentality of abundance. Okay? So this is wonderful. Be open to receiving. It's like, just go with it. Just go with it. Rock. Let yourself rock. Okay? So it's really good to tell one sign that you guys are like, yeah, you're right. I mean, we're all right where we need to be, right? But we're where you all are concerned, you're just flying. It's beautiful. Okay. So we have Pisces at the last, 6 of Cups. So cute. I love the 6 of Cups card. It flipped out for me. It was one of the first cards. I just pulled this deck. I love the Lion Strider Tarot. And I pulled this deck out and just a shuffle, and the 6 of Cups flipped over right on top, and the 6 of Cups has personal significance for me, but it's a soulmate card. It's a sweetheart card. It's nostalgia. It is things that are found in childhood that you return to. So it could be romantic, in the sense that you found somebody, a partnership that you've dreamed about, that you only thought was capable of you were having in fairy tales, showing up for you. Complete balance. That person balances you. And if you're already with a partner, it's like rediscovering love, like time to renew our vows kind of love. Which is just, again, it's just so cute and beautiful to see and to feel and kind of roll around in that energy a little bit. If this is work related, you have found something that really lights your fire, that you're really good at, that you love to do, it fulfills you, and it makes you feel like you are playing. It doesn't feel like work. It feels like pleasure. And if this is you just being, overall well-being, this is you coming into a place of balance, restoring a kind of innocence or purity that you thought you'd lost. But I think a lot of this has to do with people finding things that they really, really want to do. So I think you guys are going to maintain status quo for the next 4 months. It's now that I've achieved this, and I feel like it's really hard won for you all, Pisces. I think the last 5 years for you in particular have been a bit all over the place, and you've really been doing a lot of soul searching and kind of internal work, which is no surprise there, because that's, you're Piscean, so you all are investigative, you're water signs. But when you commit to something, it's like you're unfathomable, so you take your time, which is fine. So now that you have it, what are you going to do with it? I think you guys already have what you want. I think life is playing out because it's long overdue for you all. So I think like the Aquarius, the Aquarians, I think life is playing out for you exactly the way you always dreamed and imagined it would be. Now, how do you make that sustainable? That's going to be your challenge over the next 4 months, next 4 to 6 months. Okay, so you have Green Terra. Start delegating. Ask others, including me, to help you instead of trying to do everything by yourself. So moving into a 2-year, you see there are 2 figures on the card here for the 6 of Cups. So sharing responsibilities, knowing you don't have to go it alone anymore, that's going to be super important for you. Okay? Partnerships, collaborations, things like that. You don't have to go it alone anymore. And I just feel like being so gentle with you guys, because I just feel like a lot of you all have been, even if you were in partnerships, it's like you felt alone, you know, or even if you did something, you started a job that you thought you were really going to love, it just didn't feel like a right fit for you, and now you found something that is a right fit for you. I'm hearing after all this time. So congratulations to you all for sticking with it. I saw a meme the other day that was like, you have survived 100% of your bad days. You're doing great. And I feel like telling you all that. And you are rewarded with the Six of Cups, which is soulmate love, balance, sweetheart love, contentment, joy, innocence, you know, beauty. All right? Okay, so we are done. If you guys need any clarification about the cards or anything like that, or the layout or the decks that I used, please feel free to email me, and we'll take it from there. If you would, I will say this, if you would, I'm going to offer this kind of for a limited time only because I am starting a new gig here pretty soon. But if you, in the next, I don't know, couple weeks or so, feel like you would like a more specific reading to your situation, I will do like an eclipse special. So a particular issue or question that you have or decision you need to make that you need help with, really can't hear your intuition at the moment, I'm happy to help you all out in that regard. And if you want a preview for the next, you know, 4 to 6 months about what you can expect with regard to an area of your life, you know, I can do that for you as well. I can accommodate. And I think that's it, okay? So holler at me. Hopefully you all found this useful and some of it resonated with you. Have a good one.